This is Craig Lamison. This is actually the SmartScope final presentation from our meeting of July 10th, 2026. At that time, we were a bit rushed and running out of time, and the whole room was going to turn into mice and pumpkins if I didn't wrap this up quickly. So this will be a more leisurely, less breathless presentation than the original. So to carry on, I'm primarily a visual astronomer. I'm a point and shoot photographer. Pictures evoke the experience. We all take cell phone shots. We all take pictures of our food, the scenery, our friends. And I find that this helps complement my memories. I make sketches too for the same reason. Sketches also help to actually make you observe in more detail because you need to put a dot or a smudge on a piece of paper. Doing that, for example, a cell phone shot from a conjunction with Jupiter and Saturn and a couple moons that I took with eyepiece projection. That is not even easy enough for me, but smart scopes, they work. Here's an example from last month. I was out observing. It was a frustrating night. The go-to was not going to. The scope was not tracking. I gave up and went back to star hopping, but that's pretty slow when you're looking for faint Herschel 400 Virgo galaxies. And eventually I said, I'm going to throw in the towel. I want to do something much more fun. And I thought, well, look, Scorpius and Sagittarius are right out to the south. I remember my first night out at the dark site after joining the club, and I was doing the Texas 45 and looking for the Tom Thumb cluster, which still has a fond place in my memory. I thought, well, let's send a sea star there and see what it looks like in a photograph. However, I had forgotten the NGC number for that target. So while I looked it up, I said, well, I'll have the sea star go to the vicinity and look at some NGCs and see if it might be the one I'm looking for while I go and check. I did that, but when I came back to the sea star, I saw something like this. Well, no, I've not just got one globular, I've got two globulars in a very rich field. This looks very interesting, and some dark framing. That's nice. Well, I was looking at Baade's window, which is one of the few places we can see into the center of the Milky Way. And I thought, well, gee whiz, I need to look at this visually as well. So I went there, but suddenly more clouds. You can see this target is right off Almasi, the spout of the sea star, or the spout of Sagittarius, sorry. So it was very easy to find the same field of view. I looked, I saw Almasi, great. I saw a double star and another star and two globulars, and the sky closed up. However, in looking at my SkyTools database later on in the depiction, there seemed to be a lot of other things that I had not noted in the few minutes I had observed. I was a bit worried. I put this on the Discord server. Michael Rapp replied, and he said, no, we saw pretty much some of the same things. We have the same star here. He had seen, however, 4 stars in between the two globulars I had not noted. He was at a much greater magnification. But when I looked at the SkyTools database, and sure, they had the 4 stars he showed and another one. They had a bunch of other things too. Is this an open cluster, another open cluster, one giant open cluster superimposed on the globular? I don't know. Well, I looked at the sea star photo. Yep. The 4 stars Michael had seen, definitely there. These stars, definitely there. Nazi was outside the field of view. I missed a star here and a star here, but hey, the clouds, okay? 5-minute observation. So something was definitely wrong with the SkyTools database. I reported that to Greg Crinklaw at SkyTools. He noted SkyTools uses a very detailed database, and there are indeed errors. Those stem from examples like this first generation DSS image he sent me. That's Deep Sky Survey. Professional astronomers, of course, had made these surveys, and it shows this group of error stars, only one of which is really there. He said, yes, while there are errors, he'd never seen this many in one field. He did note it's a crowded area of the sky. Well, yeah, we're looking through the center of the Milky Way. You would expect that. And that could be part of the reason for errors in the database. He has flagged it to fix it in SkyTools. My conclusion, smart scopes are indeed smart. Another example, which I call serendipity 2, was from an observation I made of French 1. This is an asterism discovered by Sue French and reported in her Deep Sky and Telescope column and book. And yes, indeed, from the HAS dark side at 70X with a 14-inch telescope, it's definitely there, the cap. 4 stars in the base, a few in between. It is a toadstool, no doubt about it. So I propose this as the VSIG target of the month. That's Visual Special Interest Group. And thought, well, I should look at this in the backyard, see what it looks like. So I'm looking for French 1. Now, I have to admit, it was a different magnification. I was in a light polluted environment. I was using a different telescope, and to further mess things up, my finder chart was not based on the right eyepiece, and I was too lazy to change it. Not good. So I'm wandering around in the vicinity, and I do find something that indeed looks much like my memory of the toadstool. Yes, it has a cap. Yes, it has a base of bright stars, few stars in between for the stem. And I said, gee, there can't be 2 of these in the same vicinity. But as Han Solo famously said, I had a bad feeling about this. Indeed, I looked up the area on SkyTools and wandered around similarly, and I found this. It is much bigger. One advantage of the C star, the scale is the same, no matter what I'm taking, as long as I leave it on 1x. I dubbed this the giant toadstool asterism, CWL number 3 on a someday to be famous list of Craig Lamison asterisms. Well, you can see I was off the nose star of the dolphin. In this area is where French 1 is really located. I was no further away from that star, but not east of it. I was actually to the south or south-southeast. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. So they're smart, sea stars and other smart scopes, but they're also fun. And you may even come up with something that is reportable to the Naval Observatory of the United States in Washington, D.C. They are the keepers of the Washington Double Star Catalog, which is the official repository of information on known double stars. I was actually looking for Urban Observing Target NGC 2539, which is an open cluster in Delphinus. It is easy to find because it's next to 19 Puppis, a magnitude 4.7 star, which will show up even in an urban environment with a decent telescope. And indeed, I saw 19 Puppis, and it was part of a group of stars, and I saw the cluster. Now, the Washington double star catalog shows a number of other stars as part of this multiple system, including an 8.9 magnitude D component. Well, there's an E component at 9.37 magnitude, which should be dimmer than this D component. But I saw the E component here, the second brightest star in the group, and I did not see another star in the proper place for the D component. The C star brings up this group of multiple stars, and indeed, it shows a D component that is not brighter than the E component by a considerable amount. And it even shows a C component lost in the glare of the primary. So I reported this to the Naval Observatory. They noted, yes, it is not 8.9 magnitude. It could be that this data in the repository dates back to the first observation in 1899. I don't know, but it certainly wasn't updated in 2016. And they said they would complete that and fix it. So they can be fun and they can be smart and they can even lend some aid to science. Certainly, if I ever discover a supernova or a nova, I'm going to want a C-star photo of it just to document that. Thank you for listening. That's the regular version. Signing off.